Hey everyone, this is David with Night Rider MTB, doing a summer race series called DFW Summer Race Series, and so we're about to get started here. I got a really smooth transition for getting my pedal into my foot into the pedal, sorry, and just decided to give it a couple of good strokes and was like out in front. So I started waiting for this guy Ben here to come by me because he was up there beside me when we started. I didn't really want to try to lead this going into the trails. I just wanted to get up in the front so I didn't have to try to struggle passing people. Passing on this particular trail is really difficult because you'll see here in a minute the trail itself is kind of wallowed down into the ground, whereas where the grass is at, it's up higher, so you got a little ridge on both sides of the trail, and if you get caught on the side of it, it can cause you to wash out and wreck. And so trying to get out of it to pass people is a little bit of a challenge. It's a good way to get knocked down, and also takes a lot of energy when you're trying to get up on that, out of that rut, and run by them on the rough grass. It's a little smoother. This trail's like hard concrete almost. It's pretty hard packed, dusty too, as you'll see here. See how I'm following these front 5 guys, and we are rolling along, and I'm hoping to stay with them as long as I can. The longer I can stay with them, the better I'm going to do, obviously, and but I'm looking at, trying not to overcook myself and go into recovery mode, or shutdown, basically. And so I think I paced myself out pretty good going through here. It's really dusty. It's hot. The temperature was like about 102, I think, on this race, and so it was pretty toasty. So that guy in the green, he's pretty aggressive. He's not like really trying to take anybody out or anything like that, but he's forcing passes and looking a little bit desperate on trying to move up. So we'll see how that plays out later. But anyhow, Ben's got a little bit of a gap up ahead, and I think that's not like a gap of he's about to get away. I think it's just more of a give him a little space so they can ride kind of thing. But we're all still attached. That last little climb right there, I started feeling the efforts. So you can see here where Randy comes around me, kind of cuts back in on me pretty quick here with the back wheel. Wasn't intentional, I'm sure, but it wasn't a very clean pass, let's say that. And then his teammate behind me is deciding to go ahead and come on around, and he almost does the same thing, but avoids doing it to me so much here. So I'm sitting still about 8th place, I think, right here, and everybody's pretty bunched up tight here, and we're going along at a pretty good click, and about to start hitting the downhill now, easier part of this trail. If you've ever ridden to Irwin, it's this section's just a lot of open out in the field, and then some tight, twisty trails with a lot of roots, and sniper roots, if you know that term. I've made up a new one. I've got a sniper limbs, and there's one up ahead here that gets me 2 times before I figured out where it was and what was going on, and it was actually a limb on the back side of a tree. When you cut around the tree, it hits your clips your handlebar, and I didn't see it both times, but then realized where it was at and started giving that tree a little bit more room before I cut around it, and that I made it where I wasn't quite hitting it every time after that. So one of the benefits of pre-riding the trail, which I didn't do, even though I know the trail, I've been on it several times before, but it's just always good to get out there and run the trail one time, because the trails constantly change. Roots will start sticking out, limbs grow, just all kinds of things. I may reroute some section or something, or put a bridge in it where it didn't have a bridge. So right up here, that guy in the green, I don't know what happened, but find him. There he is. He's facing the wrong way beside his bike. It's a bad place to wreck. It looked like a pretty good wreck for himself. I don't know. I would have loved to have seen how that happened. Not to see him wreck, but to see what caused that wreck. Because that looked like he might have gone over the handlebars, possibly. I don't know. But he's riding really fast, so that probably ruined his chances of actually winning the race if he didn't come back over time. Because he was, like, you see him back there on the side of the trail facing the wrong way, and then right up here in just a couple seconds, not even minutes, he's going to be coming up behind me and passing me again. So the guy's moving out pretty fast. He's got a lot of power. Yeah, these open sections, this one right here, you don't really see it, especially on the camera, but even when you're riding it, just doesn't seem like it's that bad. But right through here, it just like puts a little sting in the legs. You start feeling it. Yeah, there's that guy already. He's already on my wheel, coming up behind me, and he'll put a pass on me pretty quick. So I'm imagining he probably is burning a match or two to get past me and try to catch back up to the group ahead of us here, which there was Randy and his teammate that just went the other direction on this switchback. And I think we'll see, I can't tell if I can't see it, but I think those are the lead groups passing the other direction now. Anyway, we're still pretty close to him, so he's got a chance to catch back up and get to him, as long as he didn't burn up too much energy trying to make up that gap. So this is a pretty fun trail. Oh, and that's Steven behind me. He's a good friend of mine. And here the trail's kind of deep. It doesn't offer a really great time to jump out and pass, because every time you try to get out of this rut, it causes you to kind of slide around a little bit if you don't hit it just right. Steven was kind of telling me I had more in me back there, and I was feeling it still needing a recovery. And you see my heart rate's up pretty high for me. I never pay attention to my heart rate these days. I'm going to try to do more of that, because watching it through this race, I can tell when I get up over about 183, seems to be I'm going to need a little recovery. After that, I'm in borrowed time at that level, which used to be a lot higher. So one of the benefits of getting older. But anyhow, so Steven is riding my wheel here, and I'm suffering a little bit, and so I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try to make a spot for him to get by me here. So right here, I cut to the right hard and give him an opportunity to pass me. Because I figure if he doesn't take that opportunity and he stays behind me, if we get back to single track, he's going to stay back there. I'm not going to move over and allow him to pass. There goes the 3 leaders up ahead. Yeah, because I try to give people opportunity, especially in these open sections, to get around me. And so here we got a couple more cadence riders. This guy chops my front wheel again. So we need to keep it. And then I'm sure his teammates saw what he did to me, so he gave me a little more room when he came back in. And you know, these people are just not really paying much attention to their back wheel when they're cutting in. And like I said, you know, when somebody does that to you, it's almost going to take you out, because they're going to clip your front wheel, and you don't really have much of a way to get away from it when you're down in that rut. You know, that's a perfect example right there. You can see the ridge on the side of that trail. This guy gives me plenty of room, does a great job passing. You know, that's how you should do it. Make sure your back wheel's clear from the front and not just come back in on them. And I'm not saying I haven't done this to people before too, but I wasn't holding them up or blocking them, you know, so there's no reason for them to be not giving me plenty of room when they come by. So this right here, this guy in the t-shirt and gym shorts, just motors on by us, and it's like, what is going on here? I feel like I'm going pretty fast, which, I mean, I'm moving on out. That was a good climb, and I moved up it pretty good, and I look, you know, he looks like a guy, not putting him down because he's obviously got some pretty good fitness, but when you're out there in gym shorts and a t-shirt, just kind of makes you look like, you know, like you just started riding. So that was the preface of my "Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover." When I saw him pass me like that, I was like, wow, what am I doing wrong? Or if you want to put a target on your back even, you know, show up in gym shorts and a t-shirt like that where people don't know you, and then they're going to turn themselves inside out just to try to pass you, because here I go. This guy just passed me, and I'm like, yeah, we're not staying back here. And so I go back by him. I'm turning it up. I'm back up to 180 on my heart rate. You know, I'm like, I got to catch this guy. I can't let him pass me like that. It's just not happening. And so yeah, people will start probably turning themselves inside out just to beat you when you are going against the grain like that. It's probably a good way to put it. So yeah, we're out in this opening area, and I tend to ride the open area better than most people. I can tow you know, obviously I'm towing these guys behind me along because they're chasing, you know, it's that carrot thing, they're chasing me down. And I'm going faster through here, but I don't want to let the guy ahead of me get away, so I'm going ahead and turning up the speed a little bit to try to catch him. And he moved on out. He put a good gap on me, and he's a little bit out of sight right here. And so I'm just, I can see him there, and I'm thinking, you know, yeah, okay, I can reel him back in. I'm just going to have to pace it out, not try to do it all at once. And so I need to pay a better attention to my line here, you know, because I'm swinging out a little wide on these corners, which is slowing me down some. You know, these corners got built-in berms. If you can hit the berm just right, you can go a lot, you know, carry a lot more speed through that turn, or through all those turns. So, but if you go up high on that berm, then it starts washing you and burning off a lot of speed. So there's a perfect spot. See, I went high on that one, too high. Here it's real sandy and dusty and loose. It's easy to lose your traction through that last corner because you're carrying a lot of speed coming downhill, and yeah, it's pretty techie through here. You don't think it would be, but in the wide open field, but you can either roll fast or not. So this guy's on an e-bike, and that was the confusion about the other guy in the red shirt. One of my friends was thinking that he was on an e-bike as well, and because they got an e-bike class out here racing with us, and so these guys on e-bikes are motoring on off because they're able to really push the power through these open sections, obviously. But no, he was actually in my class, and I got this other cadence guy on my wheel, and he seems to be happy with following me for a little while. And yeah, here comes another e-bike going on by, driving a big gear and just motoring on past. I think he's really burning up the battery on that thing, because later he comes back to me, and you can see he's running a much higher cadence at that point, because here he's just like grinding a really big gear, so you know he's probably sucking up a lot of battery juice out of that e-bike, riding it like that. But yeah, so we're back in this tight section here again, and a lot of roots, sniper roots, and that limb that'll catch me. I'll see if I can point it out this time around, because it almost took me out. I think on this lap was the worst time I hit it. Wasn't quite picking up on it yet. But yeah, so yeah, this e-bike guy is just, you know, he obviously is trying to keep the distance and not slow me up, but because obviously he wasn't taking these corners as fast as he needed to, and I started catching back onto him. He wasn't moving as fast in the tight sections as we are. So this little bridge thing's kind of cool. These brutes are really much bigger than you think they are. They really hit you hard, and you try to bunny hop them, but then you run the risk of hitting one of these trees on the side and getting knocked down and really taken out hard. So I think this, yeah, that tree right there had a limb on the back side of it, and that's the one that hits me every time. You can see I kind of steered back from it, and that was my handlebar hitting it. But lo and behold, look who's up ahead of the e-bike. The guy in the gym shorts. And this section seemed to be hard on him. He was struggling a little bit, and so he's doing real good at checking behind him, you know. He sees me coming, and so he gets out in his open section. He takes off again, trying to keep me from catching him. And you know what I'm doing. I'm taking off because I want to catch him. Because if there's anybody out there that I want to beat more than the rest of the group, it's going to be somebody in a t-shirt and gym shorts, just because it's almost insulting to me, you know, looking the part, and then this guy looking like he just started riding yesterday. That's just all in fun saying all that stuff. Justin, that's his name, is Justin. So he's actually got a pretty good motor on him. So he and I will tangle for the next several races, obviously. So and he's super. Seems like he's a super nice guy. So this guy's from the intermediate group, I believe. So he caught and passed me. I don't think they spaced us out too much when they were starting the guys, so I don't know how much of a head start he had, or I had, on him. So yeah, Justin up there's gap, putting a little bit more distance on me in the gap. Here goes another e-bike racer. a lot of traffic. I'm getting passed by a lot of people. Here comes another e-bike right behind me. And he just goes motoring on by. Look at this. Like it's nothing. He's a pretty big guy too, so that's putting out some pretty heavy power just going up that climb and blowing on by me like that. So lots of people, lots of dust getting kicked up. And you know, I think every time you get passed, doesn't matter what group they're in, when you're getting passed a lot like that, it just tends to, you know, take a little bit out of your gusto. And so I'm still chasing my carrot, but then Justin's up there trying to run and get away from me, and he's getting passed by as many people as I'm getting passed by, and so he doesn't have the carrot motivation, so he starts slowing down again, and so he starts coming back to me, and obviously the tight, rooty, twisty, single track sections are not as beneficial for him as they are for me, so every time we get into these sections I start catching back up to him again. When I finally get close enough to him and passing, I think I followed him for this whole lap. We did 4 laps total. We're on the second lap, I think this is. It might be the third. No, this is second lap. Yeah, so we're doing the second lap here, and I'm just thinking, well, I've got 3 laps, including this one. He's right there in front of me. As long as I don't let him get any further away, I can reel him in at any moment and then just go ahead and pass him. So, and you know, the other thing, I mentioned this in my last upload. Took several weeks off and redid a fence. I was only intending to take 1 week, and then ended up being about 3 almost. And you know, and then I did a race over the weekend, and then this Thursday I'm doing this race. So just kind of jumping back into it and doing training races. And so yeah, I'm not at the normal level of fitness that I would normally be at, but we're still going at a really good pace here. I'm not too far off of it, so I'm not saying I should be faster, you know. But anyway, you know, he hit this climb real good the last time around. This time he stayed seated in the climb, so I'm watching all these little signs to see where he's at. I'm kind of waiting for the right moment to catch him and pass him, and you know, because I don't want to try to, you know, I've got plenty of time. I don't want to try to just catch him and pass him and then have him come back and pass me back after giving him a good draft for a while, you know. So I'm just like looking to see, okay, is he getting tired yet? And so he stayed seated on that climb, and every time I get close to him, he tries to drive away from me. So I'm thinking, okay, he's not quite there yet. I don't have, you know, I don't want to put the pass on him just yet, and he's definitely not slowing me down. So I'm just looking for the best time. If you can pass when they are taxed, really like put out a hard effort or something, and you pass them, and then you can get by. Look at this pass right here. This is like the worst place to pass somebody right there. This guy just comes blowing through me on the feed zone. He's losing it right there because he's just getting sketchy. You know, you don't pass people right on the inside of a feed zone. That's just silly. Unnecessary risk. You got plenty of space out here to pass, so you know, why try to take somebody out like that? We're not racing for any money right here. You know, have a little respect for people. But Anyway, so then he slows down and starts letting the guy I'm chasing get away, and I'm like, okay, dude, I gotta pass you back. And so I go back past him and keep going, and then they start getting towed along because they're chasing me, and I'm not putting down enough power to just roll away from them, ride them off my wheel, kind of, you know. So they end up benefiting from me pushing the pace up for them. But I don't want to let this guy get away. And it's like I don't care about anybody else. I just want to beat Justin. Because yeah. So I'm reeling back in. Normally he's not letting me reel him in on these open sections, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's getting tired now. And at some point he'll see me. He'll pick up the pace again. And but yeah, we're just we're kind of just going back and forth playing this cat and mouse. I don't want to get past him until he's hurting, and then I can pass him and put distance on him, and then maybe he'll give up the ghost and stop chasing me, kind of thing. And so here I am getting close. I'm like, okay, maybe that's it. Nope, he's standing up. Look at him, pounding pedals. All right, we'll get back behind him and wait a little bit longer. No, he slowed down again. So then I went ahead and put the pass right there. I'm thinking, all right, he stood up. He really went hard. He knew I was coming, so maybe this is the time. Everybody behind me passes him. I couldn't tell. I wasn't looking back because you can't take your eyes off this trail. It'll eat your lunch. And so I'm thinking, all right, so maybe he's hurting enough where I can just put the gap on him now. I got this guy with a real nice inside pass. Everybody kind of like got stalled out on him because they didn't look ahead and plan accordingly, because I passed him so smoothly. And so we're coming back up to that route, the tight single track with all the roots. This guy here, I saw him put a foot down earlier. I was kind of worried about passing him. Here he goes and looks at me as I'm passing him. I'm like, oh, don't come over on me, So he looks like he was really struggling with that trail or something. But anyhow, these guys are funny. Mike Baker. They always watch the road out there, but they're good commentary, lots of joking. So this corner right here is off camber and coming in hot, and it's really hard to hit that one right. And I was struggling with that one the first two laps. I started kind of feeling a little better on that third lap there. Fourth lap I was feeling like I think I got it. A few lines here. This one here was not the best choice. Some of these corners were a little sketchy with the dry, hard pack coming out of it. It's kind of concerning. Not lose traction and wash out, and then lose a lot of time. So right through here, one of the guys behind me was asking for a pass, and I thought he was asking for me to pass me, and I'm like, yeah, you just missed your opportunity to pass me out there in the open. I'm not pulling over in the woods here. But then I realized he was actually yelling ahead for me. Let's get this guy notified. We need to get by him so we can keep going and not get held up, which was smart of him. I realized that's what he was doing after the fact. So then we got the pass on the guy. He cooperated really well. And see, I think that tree is, I think it's this one. No, that one. Yep. You can barely see that limb on the back side of that tree. That limb will get you. And this is going the opposite way of the normal flow of this trail, and so things tend to be not worn in the right way for you when you do that. But I guess it's a way to prevent a lot of wear and tear on the trail by going back and forth like that on it. Break it in both directions. But again, here's a deep rutted trail. You can see the ridges on both sides. It's deeper than it looks even. I mean, like, it'll flat take you down if you don't watch it. Get you sideways and slam you to the ground. But so we're on the third lap. We got one more after this. This guy, I had a gap on him, and then he just kind of rolled right back up on me and was thinking about passing me. And then he goes ahead and does it there. So he's decided it's time to go. There's somebody else coming up behind him, which is from another group. And so he's going ahead and kind of emptying the tank, so to speak, where you just, I don't got much longer. I'm going to go ahead and take it up a few beats on the heart rate and empty out the tank and try to catch who I can here at the end. Same for this torchy guy. He goes again, passes me again, and he ends up staying in front of me this time. Instead of slowing down and coming back to me like he did last time after doing this crazy passing. So then you look in the rear view camera. Lo and behold, I think that's Justin coming up behind me with the gym shorts. Yeah, he's doing the same thing to me that I was doing to him. He's chasing me. I'm assuming he must be back there. But I'm getting gassed. Been right at 179, 180 is about like where I'm comfortable and I can run for quite a while. When I go up, there's been a few times where I get up over 180. I got to back off again a few beats to recover from that, and then try to take it right back up to that fine line, that edge. Yeah, so Justin's found his second wind. He's catching back up to me. He doesn't want to let me beat him, just as bad as I don't want to let him beat me. And so he's chasing me back down, and I forget where he gets me at, but he ends up passing me back here. It's pretty quick. And I believe I'm in maybe 11th or 10th place. Yeah, I think I'm in 11th place here. So there's those two guys that have passed me. They're still right there, not too far away. If I could just go a tenth of a mile faster, I could catch them. Because we've got a whole nother lap, plenty of time, and they're just right up the trail right there, two places. But I'm giving it all I got right now. I'm just on the edge, and then I got somebody chasing me. And I don't want to blow up and have to slow down because I don't want to let him pass me. And I figured it's him without looking. And then, again, this is a bad section where it's kind of hard to get out of that trail, and then the grass is really resistive. Oh, here's where he passes me. He puts the pass on me when I pass the other guy because I slowed down when I hit the grass. The grass really slows you down. You got to put extra power into it to go through it, and he used that to slingshot around me. So he's dropping the hammer. He saw those other two guys go away from me. He's chasing them and trying to put distance on me. And so thinking, okay, I got one more lap. I got to get him back, and maybe I can pick up another couple of guys after this. And so we go on, and he's really laying it down right there. He passed that next guy. He's trying to get on out of sight. He almost is. And so I'm thinking, okay, I can't really hear anybody right on my wheel. I need to get around this guy. I tried to pass him here. He didn't cooperate and get out of my way. So he's just doing this real high cadence. So I'm like, I need to get by you, dude. And so I let him know I was coming, and then just blasted right on through there. Here's a guy that just rode right up on me. Almost overshoots this corner. Here comes another guy, and they happen to be in the intermediate race, and they're having a pretty tight race, so they're trying to race each other to this finish line right here. So they almost impede me when they're not getting out of the way. Like they forgot there's other races going on, I guess. So yeah, I was a little distracted with all that, trying not to get wrecked. And then see Justin right there. I'm like, okay, he's not too far ahead of me, so I need to see if I can reel him back in out here in the open. And I'm sure Justin's watching for me, so he's probably thinking, oh, there he is. I'm not too far ahead of him. I need to make sure he doesn't catch me out here in the open. So he's hammering out through here, and he probably went above his threshold going through this whole section, and then blows up and comes back to me here in a little bit. And you can, if you can hear the sounds, he's like making groans and stuff. You can just tell he's like toast. And I'm thinking, all right, he's finally gassed out. You know, it's like this guy's probably not been training a whole lot, doesn't have a lot of recovery, so when he's suffering like that, he's done. I don't have to worry about him anymore. But we'll see what happens. So alright, so we're out here in the open. I'm trying to watch my line, make sure I'm getting real smooth and flowing through these corners, trying to be as efficient as possible. I'm looking ahead and seeing that Justin's gotten a pretty good gap on me. Those other two guys like disappeared from me. So you know, when you're racing, you're on your last lap, you're looking at all this and you're just thinking, oh man, I guess this is where I'm going to finish up. And let's see, there goes those two guys, Torchy and Cadence. And I got Justin way up ahead. And this gap's a little further than I'd like for it to be like, you know, I'm going to catch him at the end kind of thing. So I'm thinking, wow, I really got to put down some hard effort to catch up to him and then try to pass him and stay in front of him. And meanwhile, he's going to be not working as hard as I was while I'm catching him. So he should be a little bit fresher than me if he's at the same fitness level that you expect, you know, when you're all racing in the elite level. I assume this guy must have done some racing in the past or something and is just getting back into it and has, you know, residual fitness that's left over from what he's done. Because he keeps recovering and coming back, and you know, so like on this lap, I'm like starting to get a little, you know, dumbfounded, surprised that, wow, I really didn't think he had all this in him. Thought for sure I was going to take him out, and here I am focusing on him and nobody else the rest of the race. So here comes that e-bike guy I told you about. He had the real heavy, slow, grinding cadence, and now he's pedaling a lot faster, so I'm assuming he really used up his battery on the first few laps and is now just coasting it in, trying to get done, probably on eco mode. so he doesn't have to, ride the bike in on a dead battery. I bet that is not any fun with as heavy as those bikes are. But yeah, so come flying into this off-camber downhill turn. I don't see him anywhere. I don't hear him. I'm not even seeing dust kicked up on the trail. I'm like, wow, he's done it again. He's got so much distance on me that I can't even tell he's ahead of me. So I just need to maintain what I got here and try not to lose any more spots. And I really need to hit the training so this doesn't happen in the future. And getting a kick to the ego, I guess. No, nothing against Justin. It's just the gym shorts and the t-shirt just really makes it look like you just got off the couch and started riding kind of thing. So anyway, I'm rolling through here, still just trying to be as efficient as possible, trying not to slow down, trying to maintain my speed, and flying through all these routes, trying not to get hung up on them and lose some energy through that. And I catch a glimpse. There he is. Oh my gosh, he's coming back to me again. Like he was out of sight, and now all of a sudden he's really going slow. I don't know what happened to him, So I'm like, wow, okay. Let's pass this guy again. And this time let's make it stick. And yeah, so I just in nothing flat. I'm back up on his wheel and just through that little rooty section. And of course he hears me here. You see him look back. Oh, there he is again. Yeah, so he's like taking off again. You can see him just really trying. And I don't know if you can hear the sounds well or not, but if you listen close, you'll hear him start just groaning at some point right about the time I put the pass on him. He's just like, oh, so he's suffering. And I'm thinking, yes, it's finally hit the wall, and I can be done with this and move on. Maybe I can catch somebody else before the finish. And so I really had tunnel vision this whole race, just focusing on beating him, which hats off to him. He did a good job, and he was able to come back and recover and keep giving me trouble. But yeah, so I think it's right about here. So he's letting off the pedals. I think he's going to start groaning here. When we hit this turn, it's a bit of an uphill turn, and so he's struggling. And I'm like, yep, that's my sign. And he's groaning a little bit there. And then there you can see in my rear camera, he's like grinding a big gear, trying to do everything he can to keep up with me. But I just start putting the gap on him. And, man, the dude just doesn't know how to quit. I thought that was it for him, and then the next thing I know, he's going to be catching back up to me again. I thought he was all over, and he just recovered and came right back to me. So I don't know, it's crazy. But yeah, so I still see this. I believe this is a Cadence guy up ahead of me here, 2 bikes up, and so I'm like, oh wow, hey, I can make up another position here. So I'm trying to not be in the grass as much as possible around this guy, and see if I can reel in Cadence and pass him. And I'm sure Cadence looked back and saw me, dropped the hammer, and gave it all he had to the finish line. Because it was just like already distancing me just in that short time right there when it looked like I was about to get on his wheel. So last little bits here. This is the last time through these sections. And hey, look, rear view camera. Look who's coming back to me. he needed that carrot in front of him to make him, give him new life. So yeah, he's trying to bring me back one more time for the final pass, and so you know, we're rolling along. I hear some coasting back behind me. I'm thinking, oh man, this dude just won't quit. He won't give up. And I'm trying to get this guy in front of me. I just need to give it all I got. And so you can see my heart rate's 182. Looks like. And so I'm going as hard as I can across this open section, trying to pick a good line and not get hung up on the edges of the trail so it doesn't slow me down. And hit that one a little high. That was a mistake. And you know, you can hear, or I could, not sure if y'all can hear it or not, but here comes Justin back up to me again. And so he's like a nightmare. He just keeps coming over and over again. So I'm like, okay, I got to try to catch this guy in front of me and not let him pass me at the end. And so I'm standing up and grinding it up this climb here. The bike's shaking. I'm up out of the saddle, cranking it up this climb. It's just a short little stinger climb. And then this is all a gradual uphill. I still see the Cadence guy in front of me. I'm still thinking maybe I can catch him, but there's really not much of a sprint zone for this finish. If I could get on his back wheel, I might be able to take him just before we cross the finish line. And that's about all the time I got. And so I come around this corner right here. So I see that Cadence is out of sight, but I know Justin's still coming up behind me, so I'm going to pass this guy. The Cadence guy finishes like 10 seconds ahead of us. It's a pretty close race. Hope you enjoyed it. Signing off.
Holy cow. That was racing right there, ladies and gentlemen.